Hello, dear students. Myself Chetan Garg, and I welcome you all to our INMO question of the day series, right? And in today's lecture, we will be discussing a question of number theory. And in fact, the question is very logical. And उसमें नंबर थ्योरी का पार्ट ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई बहुत ही ज़्यादा कोई आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स कोई इनमो लेवल की कोई आईएमओ लेवल की कोई थ्योरम यूज़ हो रही है नहीं बहुत बेसिक सा क्वेश्चन है बट येस इट इज़ एक्सट्रीमली लॉजिकल एंड आई एम वेरी श्योर each one of you who are even in currently 7th or 8th class can easily do this question, not exactly easily but yes can logically do this question है ना. And you आपको कोई कोई बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी थ्योरम की ज़रूरत नहीं है, राइट? तो today's question is of number theory plus a little bit of not a little bit plus a perfectly logical question, right? So let's start with the question है ना. So this is the question: in how many ways can we place the numbers 0 to 9 in these circles that are shown in the figure है ना, without repetitions, so that all the sums of the numbers in the vertices of the shaded triangles are equal? ठीक है, मतलब क्या है? बेसिकली ये जो सर्कल्स हैं, देर आर, एज यू कैन काउंट, देर आर 10 सर्कल्स एंड फ्रॉम 0 to 9 वी हैव 10 डिजिट्स, राइट? तो हमें हर सर्कल में वी हैव टू प्लेस वन डिजिट and we cannot repeat any digit, right? So each digit has to be used once and exactly once, right? हमें इस तरीके से प्लेस करने हैं सच दैट ये जो शेडेड ट्राइंगल्स हैं, राइट, दीज ट्राइंगल्स, इनमें जो नंबर आ रहे हैं, लेट्स से जो नंबर यहाँ पर होगा प्लस जो नंबर यहाँ पर होगा, राइट, इन तीनों का सम शुड बी इक्वल टू दिस प्लस दिस प्लस दिस should be equal to this plus this plus this. तो बेसिकली एवरी शेडेड ट्राइंगल में देर आर थ्री नंबर्स, राइट? तो उन तीनों का सम शुड बी सेम, राइट, फॉर ईच एंड एवरी शेडेड ट्राइंगल, राइट? अब देखो, अब इस क्वेश्चन में इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ इनमो लेवल, राइट? तो यू हैव टू राइट डाउन द सॉल्यूशन, राइट? एंड वी आर आस्क्ड अबाउट इन हाउ मेनी वेज, है ना. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने कोई एक वे हिट एंड ट्रायल से लिख दिया, तो आपको नंबर ऑफ वेज भी बताने पड़ेंगे कि कितने हैं, राइट? सेकेंड इज द वेज दैट कैन बी ऑब्टेन्ड बाय सम रोटेशंस और रिफ्लेक्शंस विल बी कंसिडर्ड सेम, राइट? तो अगर कोई भी वे है उसकी हम रिफ्लेक्शन ले लें या रोटेशन कर दें और हम बोलें कि हम क्लेम करेंगे भैया वो एक नया वे है, तो वो काउंट नहीं होगा, राइट? तो दिस इज अ परफेक्ट क्वेश्चन. क्यों? बिकॉज काफ़ी बच्चों को लगता है यार दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ परमुटेशन एंड कॉम्बिनेशन. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. We have to calculate, although we have to calculate the number of ways, but yes, एक भी वे निकालना इज अ बिग चैलेंज, ठीक है? आप एक भी वे अगर निकाल लोगे तो उससे आपको मे बी थोड़ी सी क्लैरिटी मिलेगी कि आगे हमें कैसे करना है, राइट? तो बिफोर गोइंग इनटू सॉल्यूशन और बिफोर गोइंग इनटू हिंट, मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा इस क्वेश्चन को पहले अच्छे से टाइम देके 20-30 मिनट्स देकर इसको सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करो, राइट? फर्स्ट ट्राई टू ऑब्टेन एटलीस्ट वन वे, है ना, एटलीस्ट एक वे निकालने की कोशिश करो सच दैट दीज 10 नंबर्स 0 to 9 डिजिट्स, है ना, दीज 10 डिजिट्स कैन बी प्लेस्ड इन दीज 10 सर्कल्स सच दैट सम ऑफ नंबर्स अपीयरिंग इन एवरी शेडेड ट्राइंगल इज इक्वल, राइट? ठीक है, एक वे देर आर मोर देन वन वेज, ट्रस्ट मी, देर आर मोर देन वन वेज टू डू दिस क्वेश्चन, राइट? आपको वो वेज निकालने, आपको फाइंड आउट करने हाउ मेनी टोटल वेज आर देयर, राइट? तो आफ्टर 5 seconds आई विल बी गिविंग यू वन हिंट, राइट? तो प्लीज पॉज द वीडियो हेयर, है ना, गिव इट अ ट्राई एंड आफ्टर मे बी 15-20 minutes if you are not able to do this you can resume the video, right? So after 5 seconds I'll be giving you a hint, right? 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, all right. तो लेट्स assume, है ना, कि सम ऑफ दीज एलिमेंट्स which has to be constant, है ना, sum of all the elements in the shaded numbers are equal, right? So this equal sum, let's assume it to be x, right? So x, this should also be x. What is this x? Sum of these three elements, right? Sum of these three elements is x. Sum of these three elements is x. Sum of these three elements is x, right? Sum of these three elements is x. Sum of these three elements is x, right? All right. So the hint is, let's assume the central number to be c, right? Let's assume this number to be c, right? So if I consider this triangle, है ना, and this triangle and this triangle. Basically जो कॉर्नर में तीनों ट्राइंगल्स है, if I consider these three triangles and if I calculate their sum will be 3x, right? How many elements I have consumed in this 3x? I have consumed this, 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 I have consumed this. ये भी हमने एलिमेंट ले लिया, ये भी ले लिया, ये भी ले लिया, राइट? तो बेसिकली 9 एलिमेंट्स वी हैव टेकन. तो which element is remaining? The central one. So 3x plus c. Can we say this is the sum of the digits from 0 to 9? And you can calculate the sum of digits from 0 to 9. It comes out to be 45. So this 3x plus c, this is 45, right? So this is a hint. ये एक हिंट है आप लोगों के लिए, है ना? तो अभी भी यू शुड पॉज द वीडियो, है ना? अभी आपको वीडियो को पॉज करना चाहिए, इस हिंट को लो और इस हिंट से फर्दर सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करो. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, इनमो में यू हैव टू जस्टिफाई योर सॉल्यूशन, है ना? यू हैव टू टेल इट लॉजिकली कि वाई दिस इज द आंसर, राइट? It's not like that कि we have obtained this way so this will be the only way, right? You have to मतलब आपको है ना पूरा एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ेगा कि यही वो वेज हैं जो हमने निकाले, इसके अलावा कोई और वेज नहीं हो सकते, राइट? सो फर्स्ट थिंग यू हैव टू मतलब लॉजिकली आपको बताना पड़ेगा एंड इनफैक्ट यू नीड टू कैलकुलेट द नंबर ऑफ वेज, राइट? तो अगेन दिस इज अ बिग हिंट, है ना? ये आपके लिए एक हिंट है. जिनको ये हिंट समझ में आ गया है, राइट, काइंडली अगेन पॉज द वीडियो, प्लीज़ आगे प्रोसीड करो, ठीक है? मैं इस हिंट के बाद अभी सॉल्यूशन पे प्रोसीड कर रहा हूँ, तो यू कैन गिव इट अ ट्राई, है ना? ऑलराइट, आई एम प्रोसीडिंग टुवर्ड सॉल्यूशन. ऑलराइट, तो जैसा हमने देखा हिंट में, है ना? लेट्स फिर से मैं एक बार कर देता हूँ. लेट्स एज्यूम दीज sum of the elements appearing in the shaded triangle is x, let's assume, and let's assume c is the central element. So what we have obtained, 3x plus c, that is equals to 45, right? Now as you can see, this 3x, this is a multiple of 3, right? This is divisible by 3. 45 is again divisible by 3. So c must be divisible by 3. Or you can say 3 divides c. Again this is a hint, right? Again, if you have not concluded this, if you have not inferred this, you can again pause the video and give it a try, right? So basically the possible values of c can have a value of 0, it can have a value of 3, it can have a value of 6, it can have a value of 9, right? These are the only possible values that the central element can have, right? So again I request you, अगर आपने अभी तक ये logically conclude नहीं किया था, again pause the video, है ना? Give it a try and again come back to the solution to see the solution, right? I am proceeding with the solution, right? Okay, so let's consider a case if c is equals to 0, right? Let's consider this case. Okay, if c is equals to 0, then we can say our equation will become 3x equals to 45, right? This equation, है ना? So from here what we can say that x is nothing but x is equals to 15. And what is x? X is the sum of the elements appearing in the shaded triangle, right? So all right, let's place our central element to be 0, right? Let's make it 0 and our x should be 15, right? So now as you can see, x is the sum of elements appearing in the shaded triangle. So these two elements plus 0, that should be 15. Okay, 0 is immaterial, so basically sum of these two elements should be 15. Similarly, sum of these two elements should be 15, right? And again by the same logic, sum of these two elements should be 15, right? So basically we need three pairs that add up to 15, right? So let's see how many pairs do we have. 9 plus 6 is 15, right? And what else we have? We have 8 plus 7 is 15, right? What else we have? We have 10 plus 5, but no, 10 is not a single digit number. So do we have any other pair? No, we do not have. So we only have two pairs which added up to 15. And how many pairs do we need? अपने को 3 pairs चाहिए थे. Can we get 3 pairs? No. So what we have concluded, C equals to 0, rejected, right? So C, what we have concluded, C equal to 0 is not possible, right? तो ये तो हमारा C की वैल्यू हो गई खत्म, right? तो अभी भी स्टिल वी हैव थ्री केसेस, C कैन बी 3, C कैन बी 6, C कैन बी 9, राइट? सो बाय सिमेट्री हमें अभी C को 9 ट्राई करना चाहिए, राइट? तो लेट्स सी, है ना, आवर इक्वेशन वाज 3x प्लस C इक्वल्स टू 45, where C is our central element, है ना, and X is this sum, as you know. So let's see if C is equals to 9. Let's consider this case, right? So if C is equals to 9, so our 3x, that will become how much? 36. So that implies, that simply implies X is your 12, right? All right, so our central element is 9. We have kept it to be 9, and sum of these three elements should be 12, right? X is 12. Clearly this single element is 9, so that means sum of these two elements, that should be 3. Similarly, sum of these two elements, that should be 3, right? And again, sum of these two elements, that should also be 3, right? So what we can say, we can say that these two elements, sum of these two elements should be 3, and हमें ऐसे 3 pairs चाहिए जिनका sum 2 को 3 बने, right? So let's see how many pairs can we get. We know 2 plus 1 is 3, right? All right, we can also have 3 plus 0, because 0 is also a single digit, है ना? That is equals to 3. Can we have any other pair? No. There are only 2 pairs which can get added up to 3. So since we are getting only 2 pairs, but we require 3 pairs. So what we can say, C equals to 9 is rejected. So what again we can say, C cannot be 9, right? So basically now we are left with only 2 cases, right? All right, so let's proceed with if C equals to, let's say, 3. What was our equation? Our equation was 3x plus C equals to 45, right? So if C is equals to 3, what we can say, our X will be simply equals to how much? 14, right? So let's put the central element to be 3. These are our X, and what was X? X was 14, right? So if central element is 3, so sum of these two pairs, sum of these two elements, sum of this pair and sum of this pair should be how much? Yes, it should be 11, right? So let's see in how many ways can we get 11. We can have 6 plus 5, that is equals to 11. We can have 7 plus 4, that is in fact equals to 11. We can have 9 plus 2, that is equals to 11. We can also have 8 plus 3 equals to 11. So we can have 4 pairs that are that can add up to 11. But yes, obviously since 3 is already been written here, and 3 is the central element, so 3 cannot be we cannot repeat 3, because repetition is not allowed, right? So we cannot use this because 3 is already being used, right? So we can have 3 pairs, and in fact we require 3 pairs, right? All right, so now it's important how we can place these two things. Since this is the entire figure is symmetrical about the central element, so let's place the first pair randomly, right? Let's put it like 6 into 5, or you can place it like 5 into 7, anything and anywhere. मतलब you can place it here, right? आप कहीं पर भी इसको लिख सकते थे, right? आप यहाँ पर भी 6 and 5 लिख सकते हैं, आप 5 and 6 लिख सकते हैं. Let's place it like 5 and 6. इट इज़ नॉट नेसेसरी कि हमें 5 और 6 यही लिखना है. हम यहाँ पर भी लिख सकते थे, यहाँ पर भी लिख सकते थे, बिकॉज एज यू कैन नो कि वो है ना रोटेशन से या रिफ्लेक्शन से आ जाएगा, राइट? सो लेट्स सी. So now the question arises, should we place 7 here? Let's say we are placing 7 plus 4 over here or over here, right? Now there are basically 4 possibilities. 6 के साथ में we can have 7, we can have 4, we can have 9, we can have 2, right? तो एक बार है ना हम एक एक करके प्लेस करके देखते हैं. Can we place 9 here? No. Why? Because 9 plus 6 will be 15, and sum of the triangle should be 14, right? So basically for this place we have 4 options, right? 7, 4, 9 and 2. 9 is clearly rejected, right? If we place 2, so 6 plus 2 is 8, then here it should be 6, but 6 we have already used, right? So 2 is again rejected. Let's say if we place 4 here, right? 6 plus 4, 10, then there should be 4, but again 4 we have already used, so 4 is again rejected. So there is only one possibility, and that is 7, right? आई होप यहाँ पर सबको समझ में आ रहा होगा. For 7 we should have 4 here, right? Because 7 and 4 should be the pair which are giving us 11, right? Now if we have 4 here, right? Acha, we can also place 7 plus 6 13, and here it should be 1 because sum has to be 14, right? Now we are left with only one pair, 9 and 2. Okay, so we can write 9 and 2 like this, or what we can say, we can also write 9 here and 2 here. Let's assume if we write 9 here, let's assume if we write 9 here, so 9 plus 4 is 13. So to make the sum of to make x to be equal to 14, we need 1 here, but 1 we have already used here, so 9 is not practically possible here. So here it should be 2, it must be 2, here it must be 9, right? So 9 plus 3, 12 plus 2, 14, 4 plus 2, 6, here it should be 8, 9 plus 5 is 14, so here it should be 0, right? So if अब ये चीज़ है ना बड़े ध्यान से समझना, इफ c इज इक्वल टू 3, अगर c 3 है देन देयर इज ओनली वन पॉसिबिलिटी, राइट? ऑब्वियसली रोटेशन और रिफ्लेक्शन करके आ जाएंगे, दैट्स एन इंडिपेंडेंट केस, बट यस देयर विल बी ओनली वन पॉसिबिलिटी टू राइट द elements in these circles such that each shaded triangle has the same sum, and that is equals to 14, right? So if c equals to 3, we will have one way, and the way is on your screen, right? Obviously what we can have a reflected version, we can have a rotated version of the same, but yes, ultimately the final combination when c is equal to 3 will be unique, right? Now let's consider the final case when c is equal to 6, right? So our original equation was 3x plus c equals to 45. Now let's see what happens if c is equals to 6, right? So if c equals to 6, our x will become 13, right? And let's write the central element to be 6. All right, so our x, that should be 13, so sum of this pair, that should be 7, sum of this pair, that should be 7, sum of this pair, that should be 7, because our central element is 6, right? So let's see how 7 can be formed. One way is 0 plus 7, other way is 2 plus 5, one way is 3 plus 4, and one way is 1 plus 6. And I hope all of you can see 1 plus 6 is rejected. Why? Because we have used 6 already as the central element, right? So we have only 3 ways left, and in fact we actually require 3 ways, right? So let's write the first way randomly, right? So let's write 0 and 7 over here, right? So what else we need, right? So for this element, as you can see, we can have 2, we can have 5, we can have 3, we can have 4 for this element, right? All right, so final sum should be 13, right? So if we write 5 here, so 7 plus 5, 12, so we can have 1 here, all right? So 5 can be the possible. If we write 3 here, so to make the sum equals to 13, we will need 3 here, so 3 is rejected because 3 cannot be used twice, right? So if we place 4 here, so what we will do, 7 plus 4, 11, we will need 2 here, but 2 should be utilized in the different pair, right? I hope this is clear, right? Because 2 cannot be placed here because 2 will be needed either of these 2 positions, right? So we cannot place 4 here, right? So if we place 2 here, or let's say if we place 2 here, 7 plus 2, 9, then we need 4 here. But again, by the same logic, 4 has to be used in this pair if we are placing 2 here, because 2 and 4 cannot be there in the same triangle, as they must be there in these one of these 3 pairs, right? So 2 is again rejected, so only possibility left is 5, right? So 2, 3, 4 clearly rejected, 5 is the only possibility, so here it should be 1 because sum has to be 13, right? Since this is 6, this is 5, 11, so here it should be 2, right? Obviously 5 is getting paired with 2, so here it is 2. Now we are left with 3 and 4 as the remaining pair, right? So basically there is 2 possibilities, 3 or 4, right? So let's write 4 here, and then 6 plus 4, 10. Okay, 4 plus 2, 6. if we write 4 here, 4 plus 2 6, then here it should be 7, but we have used 7 already, and so 4 cannot be placed here. So let's write 3 here, so 6 plus 3 9, 4 should be there. 3 plus 2 5, and then 8 should be there, right? 0 plus 4 is 0, and then 9 should be there, right? So as you can see, this is the only possibility if the central element is 6, right? And this is unique, right? We cannot have any other way while central element is 6. Obviously, rotations and reflections are rejected, right? So as you can see, this is the perfect question for INMO, right? And this is highly logical, and this is a famous question and a very famous question. There are only two ways. So the actual question was, in how many ways? The answer will be, there will be two ways, right? In which in one way the central element will be 6, and in the other way the central element will be 3, right? So I hope this question is clear to you, and I hope आपको ये question अच्छा लगा होगा, आपने enjoy किया होगा, and I'm very sure आप में से बहुत सारे बच्चों ने कुछ hints लेकर इस question को solve भी कर लिया होगा, right? So we will meet you tomorrow with a new INMO question of the day, right? Thank you. Bye bye. Take a very good care of yourself.